Thank you for this opportunity for allowing me to speak with you today. Hi, my name is Ellen. I'm an alcoholic, an addict, and I'm mentally ill. I had been in treatment for my mental illness for about 10 years until recently when all of my services were cut because of budget cuts. At that time, I was able to get preventative services that helped me stay stable and make it through crisis situations. Now that I don't have mental health insurance and the budget has been cut, I am unable to get any preventative services. I have to be in a crisis for me to be able to get any kind of help because I don't have the hundreds of dollars for maintenance appointments. My mental illness, suicidal ideations, and self-injury began around age 7. I was sexually abused for several years of my childhood by my granddad and 2 other family friends. Suffering through years of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse finally caused my first major breakdown when I was 14. I began cutting and burning myself multiple times a day just to keep myself from going over the edge into a complete suicide. That same year, I began drinking heavily. I had my first drinking binge that lasted 2 weeks and got high for the first time. At this point, and throughout my teenage years, my father threatened to have me committed several times, but he never had the heart to do it. I don't think he wanted to see me spend most of my life committed to a mental institution like my older sister. The only thing my parents had the heart to do was force me into counseling at age 13 because they believed I was depressed, but I wasn't ready to get recovery yet. I just want everyone to stop caring so I could kill myself in peace. At age 15, I lost my stepsister to suicide, and I realized how much it hurt me and everyone involved, so I tried to stay alive for the sake of my friends and family, but I just couldn't. At age 16, I had my last suicide attempt. It landed me in the emergency room at the local hospital with 8 stitches in my wrist. It scared my parents, especially my father. He was told that if I would have been a 32nd of an inch deeper, I wouldn't have made it the 10 miles to the hospital. At that time, my parents forced me to start seeing a psychiatrist. I guess they believed that medication would fix their crazy mixed-up teenager. I had already been on sleeping pills and antidepressants for 2 years with no improvement. I had tried many different medications, some worked for a while and stopped working, others gave me horrendous side effects, so at the time I refused to take them. Between the ages of 17 and 18, I lost 2 dear friends to suicide. I was completely devastated. My world was crashing in on me. I was still attempting to deal with my life by injuring myself daily. I hadn't worn short sleeves or shorts for years because my body was so scarred. At 18, after the suicide of my friend, I started using alcohol and drugs to self-medicate again. I could care less whether I lived or died. I was drinking and using nightly and always blacking out. This continued until the age of 20 when I decided I was going to cut down on my drinking and using, but didn't completely stop. At the age of 20, I ended up hospitalized twice within a month. I believed that I never could get better, and my life was always going to be this way. The man I was with told me I wasn't really mentally ill. I was just making things up, and I wanted attention. He emotionally abused me for 3 years before I finally had strength to get out. Since then, I met a wonderful man, and we became pregnant with a little girl. At 7 months pregnant, we lost our little girl, Addie, on February 18th of 2009. I wouldn't have made it through without the support from the staff and friends from Pawnee. And since then, we became pregnant again with a son. I delivered my son on January 5th, 2010, a happy baby boy. And now, I'm trying to get through postpartum depression, but I don't have my services anymore, and it's making things a lot more difficult. Thank you.
Ellen, thank you very much for sharing with us today. It's a beautiful testimony.